So let's just get right back into it. So a few things I was gonna do, let's just do some of those right off the bat before I forget. Because that'll happen. As shameful as it is. I want it to be a bit thicker than what I have down there, so that should be good. Don't need any of these faces anymore. We'll just be doing this. So let's see, what's going on 3D printing wise? Well, I did do an order for one of my projects that I haven't really talked about yet. Still unfortunately waiting to come in. That's kind of part of the problem with being pretty much up in Canada, is all the shipping and stuff just takes longer. And it's more expensive, and our dollar's terrible, so it cost me like, I won't go as far as say it's an absurd amount, but it's an amount that's to the point where it's like, I really shouldn't. But that's just how it goes. At this point, it's pretty much something I'm just used to. Our dollar hasn't really been good for a while. It's just at an all-time low right now, so that sucks. But what are you gonna do, right? Oh jeez. Yeah, so that's whoops. So that's gonna be coming. Did I have anything else going on in that order? Not particularly. I mean, I was working on some Death Guard conversion parts, so I mean, like, those are definitely in there. Well, I finished the design on the shoulder pads in particular, so I'm printing just a really basic, strong and flexible version, just to make sure that my overall dimensions are okay and that they fit where they're supposed to on the actual models. And then from there, I'll probably, well, maybe not right away, but I'll be setting up an order for pretty much enough parts that would fit about 30 Marines. Might do 40 just to make sure I've got spares and stuff. Sorry. Because that'd be terrible to break one and then have like 29 shoulder pads for 30 Marines, or 29 and a half pairs of shoulder pads. Ugh. That'd be so sad. That's cool. I wanted to change this a little bit. Alright, let's not let me do this the easy way. Oops. Because why would it, right? Everything's fine on the bottom. Yes. Good. Yeah, now let's get that on the other side too. God damn it. There we go. Alright, how does that look? Let's full screen this. Yeah, that's looking pretty cool. Because at this point I should just match those two, those two little bevels there. There's not really any point to them being different. aside from just feeling special. Probably move this up a little bit. Yeah. I don't know, honestly, I don't think there's really that much more to do. I could move this up a little bit. I think that'll be fun. And I'll just fix the polygons in here so that they flow a bit better. Preventative maintenance. I don't need to do anything to the bottom quite yet. Oh yeah, 3D printing news. So I got that order coming in. That's gonna be a big order, but it'll be fun. It's gonna be a lot of work because I gotta do a whole little write-up on the parts and how to work with them and clean them, and a little basic guide. Also gotta do instructions, and I gotta paint mine up at least in primer so you can actually see what the model is, because the material is translucent, and without that paint you can't really see anything. I'm hoping they all turned out well. I did a couple prints of a few of the models that I had done earlier, and they turned out great. So I'm hoping, I putting these on a new Shapeways account just to kind of keep them just separate from the rest of my work. Especially given just how awkward the shops are on Shapeways, so just to keep it a little different, a little more focused. So when I'm sharing links around, I was almost tempted to just relocate all my Gunpla prints to another shop as well, but I think for now they'll just stay where they are. I've not exactly done huge sales of them, and I'm not exactly designing a whole bunch more, so they can stay. It'll be more work. Pretty much it's just more work that I wouldn't be doing otherwise to move them. And getting them reprinted, which honestly is not that big of a deal because they're by far, especially if just in terms of picking up one of each, they're much cheaper prints than the Proxy War stuff overall. Both because there's fewer of them and just the price per print is lower. They're simpler, smaller prints, so usually a rifle is about $7 to $10, whereas even something like the Badger, which is the 8 little mechs, was... I'm actually gonna look this up now because I'm curious. View shop. Let me see. Yeah, even those are $9.50. But if I go to some of my Gunpla stuff, oh yeah, they're actually even cheaper. Like in the $5 range. $7.50 is usually a good average for some of the parts. Yeah. So a basic rifle will be about $5. Something larger, like a smaller shield, would be like $7.50. Some of the parts I have that are like the Crossfang Tonfa things, those are about $9.50 for the pair. So yeah, basically, while it wouldn't be as expensive as reordering all the Proxy War stuff, it's still, at this point, it's literally work I don't need to do. I probably won't do anything like that until, well, what I'm hoping to do is at one point I want to finish one of my Gunpla projects and then use that as a basis to kind of relaunch, essentially. Not a true relaunch, I'll probably still keep them in the same shop and everything, but just to kind of make another big push on social media and Reddit and stuff like that. I want to put something here like a grill, but it's going to be impossible to paint, so I should just leave it. I know better than this. Maybe I can... I don't really like that. If anything, I'd do another line kind of about halfway here, then go, again, it's like, this is the bottom, you're not going to see it. I might even bring this in just a little bit more. And bring these down even a little bit more. And that, and that. Yeah, I'm kind of just not really seeing much more to do. I can try getting some. Not much, just enough to kind of really show there's something there at least. I'll do that for gun barrels, although maybe I should. I mean, I could just do essentially this. And then bring these out just a little bit. Yeah, it's not much, but it might be enough to just kind of push it over the edges, essentially. Yes, so printing. So that order is coming. Shapeways seems to finally be getting to the point of offering orientation stuff for at least some of their materials. So I'm going to try and get into the beta test for that because I'm going to be. I was planning to do that today. I might start it today, but I need to pretty much revamp the guns on the Badger. So that means it's going to need to be reprinted along with the Bulwark here, so I can test that out at least. Today is the 5th. Sorry, just taking some notes before I forget. Do I want to make the tracks a bit skinnier? Kind of like them as they are, but you know, never hurts to experiment, right? I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't think I do. Yeah, I think that's still better. So now if we look at this, what do we got for colors here? So obviously this, and this whole swath is all one color. These are one color. This is one color that could extend to this as well. Those are one color. This could be two colors here. I'm not sure yet. Plow is just going to be the basic gray. I might pick out the teeth in one of the colors. Track's black. Yeah. Main color, secondary gray. Or maybe gray. Or secondary gray. Gray. Primary. Secondary. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And I don't think there's much more I could do right now. The only thing I can really think of is going through and like lowering the top turret a little bit by just gonna bring all this stuff down a little bit, but I think that all things considered, this is kind of like really all I want to do. Let's just clear out some of the junk. Yeah, so it basically gives kind of like I mean, like for this turn, technically you get a good like 240 degrees. It's pretty good. I'd probably simplify it to just 180 though, so you got like that front arc. Like in terms of gameplay, just you know the front arc where you get both, and then everything outside of that front arc, that front half is just one turret. Because it can go all the way around town. Now, do I want to start you yet? Do I have something else I can talk about? Do I just want to make this a short stream because we're already at 14 minutes through this part? My throat's not doing too bad, but well, let's do this. I'll just pop that on for a little bit. I'm gonna do some wizardry with some files. While we're waiting, I'm gonna check the tracking on my shipment. It's still in America. Damn. And let's... Oh geez, I gotta find it here too. No fair. Models. Oh wait, this is not the right one. Shoot. This is going terribly wrong. Okay, there. Stop loading. So now we just kind of wait and see if that can show up pretty quick here. See if there's any obvious issues with the print. Oh, and of course I did kind of mess up. Damn. Okay, well, not a big deal for now. In theory, it should still not show up with any problems. So, just gotta wait and see. So, let's actually... Yeah, here's what we'll do. Let's go... Oops. Oh well. Okay. So let's just take a look, see how it, kind of lines up in the Bulwark's place. This feels better. It's still not quite got the same density to it that some of the other models have, but it feels like a much better step closer compared to this. Like, this was very simple. I was like the main center block, the tracks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 technically, and then whoop-de-doo, that's it. So this definitely feels much more in line with the rest. So I like that. I'm pleased with that at least. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all there is to that one. Oops. I'll go back there. Still doing some checks. So what's next? That is actually a pretty good question. Oops. That's it. So I can just go for that. Okay. So where do we go from here? Let's just keep saving. Always save. Let's see what I had for ideas. This one. That one. You know what it is. So Barracuda is actually done, so I can take that off the list. I still got... I mean, I'm still pretty short on mech units. That's for sure. In particular, I don't really have... Well, I do have actually the new artillery mech, so let's just skip over. So I got my 3 kind of like main basic combat units. 2 artillery and 1 anti-air. So I think... I guess at this point then I just make like I want to do... Actually, yeah, it's a cool idea. I think what I'll do is I have an idea here for a Gatling mech, which I want to be kind of very like T-Rex shaped, I guess you could say. But I think instead what I'll do is I will make a flak mech. So basically area of effect anti-air. It'll be a nice contrast to the Strider, which is our missile anti-air here, because it'll be slower, a bit more well armored, shorter ranged, but have the area of effect. And I think what I'll do to differentiate it from, say, the Fusillade flak tank is instead of it'll be slower to fire but a larger area. So that's cool. I'm actually going to change that here. Do I still want to call it the Raptor? I don't know. For now, I guess actually we'll just... That's not what I wanted. God damn it. Okay. Maybe I'll call it the Stinger. Yeah. I don't think that makes any logical sense, but I'm gonna keep it because it came to me an idea. Now what else we got? I do have an idea for here. I do have an idea here for a kind of like a line breaker. So pretty much, pretty really tough. In this case, it'll probably be faster, like. Because like the Bulwark is also a line breaker for the tanks, but it's more armor, less speed kind of thing, and its firepower is limited to light targets. But I think what I'll do for like this mech line breaker is it'll be a bit faster, it'll be slightly less armored, and it's gonna have like a really short-ranged weapon. Probably not a flamethrower. Although that's possible, I kind of see it as being more like a siege thing, something that if you get if it gets among your buildings and turrets and stuff, it's gonna tear them down quickly. But you know, it's not that fast. It's just pretty tough for what it is, and its real purpose is essentially, you know, being to draw fire, because those you definitely can't let get close because they'll tear shit down. But the other stuff, you know, it's a gamble. It's you take out the line breaker and then, you know, your turrets won't fall immediately, but because you let everything else get close, because it probably took you a little bit of time to kill the line breaker, because that's why it's tough, you know, the rest of his regular units will do some amount of damage to your turrets as well. Is they going to be the same level of damage? Yeah, that's where you kind of have to decide. So I am actually going to put some little extra info in here so I can remember that. So slow-ish, or let's put in medium slow. Medium slow speed. High damage, low range. Actually, I guess this I can bring over here just so you can see some of the other ideas too. And you can see all my spelling mistakes. Oops. And using all these technical terms of pretty tough, medium, slow. Here we'll go medium speed, slightly tough, slow AO, slow but large AOE, flak. That should tell me everything I need to know for when the time comes. This one is still kind of up in the air. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. No, actually still stays on the same line. Good. Fast, frail, weaponless, immobile cloak. Yeah, that's all good. Whoops. Stealth mech, I'm not sure how exactly I want that to work. For Black Ops, we actually did a stealth mech that used beams, and that was fun. I might do something similar to that. I would kind of need to think about how it works in gameplay terms before I really before I really want to get down to that. Because like, if it's gonna attack while stealth, I'd much rather it be, well, I guess it really makes sense in that sense. Okay, more time to think about it. Hover tank, let's put in here Hellfire revamp. The Bulwark is done, we're gonna just punch in here. All I can remember, Badger, revamp. Did I want to revamp anything else? Not really. Everything else is pretty much kind of like where I want it. It was just this. Maybe the Fusillade. I gotta think about that some more, but so now this is done. I guess we do kind of have the heavy attack tank. I want to call something. Oh no, I already have the member name taken up. Okay, so you probably saw this. And basically, you know, these are cool, but these are cool too. And the basic idea behind the prime units is that they are far more advanced than the basic rank and file troops that you just throw each other in the thousands. You know, the giant scrap grinder. So they're big. They're generally about as big as one of the commander units, but they they tend to be very specialized. So, you know, they suit a very particular role, and while some are more flexible than others, generally speaking, they need some of these guys along to kind of like help compensate for their flaws, and that's cool. But they also are a chance to give me the option to do things in a way that I can't do with a unit that is supposed to be fundamentally simple, like the sledgehammer is probably, yeah, honestly, the sledgehammer and now the new Bulwark are the two most complex units here, because this one has to deploy to shoot and it can't move while shooting, and the Bulwark has two turrets, one of which has a limited line of sight or field of view, field of fire, and the other one doesn't. So suddenly, you know, attacking from behind gives an advantage in terms of limited retaliation. And while this one, you know, but everything else is really simple. Like, the crack shot here is basically like this without the, if you take away the balancing needed to make without, basically it's weaker than this gun, but it doesn't need to deploy to shoot. So, you know, it's kind of like your middle line. You know, the Cougar, oh, it just shoots things. Not even any of these guys, like, out of the mechs, probably the Rapier is the most complex, simply because it has two guns, which is more, well, two different guns, which is more than any of the other mechs, so yeah, these are all very simple units, fundamentally. Some have more to them, like I said, like with the sledgehammer, even kind of like the tremors like that, because it's a hull-mounted weapon, so it's limited in its aiming. But nothing's really complicated. But with the prime units, you can take that a step further. You can do things that, you know, for example, I don't know what I'm going to be doing for shields. I don't know if that's going to be something that's just local, like confined to a unit. I don't know if that's going to be something that is like a bubble, but you know, if I was to do a bubble or something weird with shields, it would be on a prime unit, because you can't, well, you in theory wouldn't be able to really just spam those, so they retain their novelty. It's really hard for them to kind of like reach that tipping point. Like in Supreme Commander, you could within a certain amount of reason, just especially for an Aeon opponent. Well, Aeon and UEF, because they both had mobile shields, but you just layered in enough shields in your army, and just as everything was moving around, new shields would constantly be like taking fire and all that, and even at that point, when there's enough shield density there, even running in isn't enough, because now you're just suddenly shooting at the shield gens at the back. Because they haven't been shot yet, they still got really high health, and it's hard to shoot at the actual unit attacking you. So it just turns into a case where, just by layering enough bubbles, it's really hard to do any damage to anything in that group. Not impossible, and obviously there are ways to get around it, but it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, it'd be much better if it did do this. So, yeah, so that's kind of why, that's one thing that I can do with the prime units. But it also gives me like the option to have like a big combat unit that's not quite as powerful as the commander, because the commanders are basically built with tech that you can't build on the spot. It takes time. It's really specialized stuff. So it gives me the chance to do some really interesting things as one-offs, and I mean they're bigger models, so they're going to be more detailed, and that's fun. And I do have a few of those. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely got a few of those. Some of them are kind of like, I've done the Rampart kind of in a subcom model. It was just a model hack using the Fat Boy model, but it was fun. The Trebuchet I've actually already worked on a little bit. It's very Metal Gear Rex like. The megalith is kind of based on the Warhammer 40,000 Necron monolith, but in the sense that it's pyramid-like and its main weaponry is on the top of it, but it's going to be pretty different, I think. The Land Shark is basically a battleship that can go on the land. The Artemis is basically just a mobile nuke launcher. Recluse is... I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be one of those like fun combat units. It's going to have a bunch of missiles and a moderate beam turret. It's not going to be like Supreme Commander Monkey Lord level beam turret, but it's going to be kind of definitely something you don't want to ignore. So, got a few little things here. Overwatch is kind of based off the... Oh geez, what did we call it? Damn it. This is embarrassing, but for Black Ops we did the UEF T1 unit was a tank that deployed to shoot. I forget what it was called. So, I've got lots of ideas, I just need to do it. Part of that is doing... I might do a few of these not on stream. I'll record it so I can do the time lapse. I might do some commentary stuff along with that. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, like, streams are nice, and I definitely like doing that, but I think, like, part of the problem is that, like, no one's watching, and not that I particularly blame them, but I think I need to try and get some more, I need to focus on nailing my twice-a-week schedule and pushing myself to do other work that I could use to pretty much, you know, to fill the channel up. So